Okay, so let's zoom in on this sucker. So what we have in analog is two oscillators and then a noise generator. So we have three sound generating things, three oscillators, and they are right here. So you'll notice, as I pointed out before, in analog, we have oscillator, filter, amplifier twice. Oscillator, filter, amplifier. But let's just focus on the oscillators for a second here. So we have oscillator 1 and oscillator 2. We can turn them off by just clicking this osc. Okay, so now we have no oscillators on, which means we're going to hear nothing. Okay, so I can turn one oscillator on and we're going to hear that sound. Let me turn this filter off just so that we hear it kind of exactly as is. Okay, now noise is a sound generating thing that we'll see in a lot of synthesizers. Sometimes it's great to put in noise. It can really be shaped to give you a real percussive attack. We see noise when we're programming drum sounds. Like if you want to make a synthesized snare hit, might be a lot of noise. Right? So you hear it and you're like, wow, that's really noisy. It just sounds like I'm layering noise over it. Well, we are, but what if we did this? See, now we have a nice percussive attack to it. But let's not do that right now. So let's leave noise off and just one oscillator. Okay, so we always want to look at the signal flow when we're looking at any synthesizer. Okay, so the signal flow here is fairly simple, but it can be diverted in interesting ways. So oscillator 1, this is going to tell us where oscillator 1 is going. In general, things are going to go from left to right. Oscillator 1 is going to go to filter 1, which is going to go to amp 1. Okay, and oscillator 2 is going to go to filter 2, which is going to go to amp 2. However, we can kind of mix things around. See, oscillator 1, where's it going to go? Filter 1 or filter 2? You can say all filter 1, can drag this down, all filter 2, or I can say, go 60% to filter 1 and 40% to filter 2. So that's going to send this signal 60% of it to filter 1 and 40% of it to filter 2. Okay? So you can play around with the routing here. Okay, I can say all of it to filter 2 if I want. So let's send it all to filter 1. So now it's going here. Okay, so we turn on filter 1. We can set our type of filter, which we'll talk more about shortly. And then we can say, where does this filter go? Right now it's going 100% to filter 2. So I'm going to apply 2 filters to it. Okay, so let's turn on filter 2 and set something there. We'll just do that kind of a thing, give it a lot of resonance. Talk more about that later. And then amp 2. Okay, so now we're going from here to here to here to here. Okay, so our level is here. Okay, so you hear that little laser gun effect? Yeah. That's this resonance right here. Resonance gives you that kind of laser gun sound. We'll talk more about how that works later. Okay, so now we're going to amp 2. Now I believe what's happening here in analog is that filter 1 always goes to amp 1. So filter 1 is going to amp 1, but it's also being duplicated here and sent to filter 2. So we're duplicating our signal. So both amp 1 and amp 2 are getting the signal. Okay? Then from amp 1 and 2, it goes to the LFO section, which is currently off, so it's passing right through there, and then going to our master volume. Right? So The signal flow is in general from left to right, oscillator, filter, amplifier to the output. But we can mix it around a little bit and play with it through this kind of simple routing in here.